Irashamase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday, we've got Sublevel Zero, one of my most anticipated titles from PAX Prime 2015. So Sublevel Zero is a roguelike 6 Degree of Freedom shooter developed by Sigtrap games. So if you're a fan of Descent, that's basically what a 6 Degree of Freedom shooter is. But go and take that, go and throw in a hefty dose of roguelike mechanics with some crafting, and you go and get a wonderful package. So what kind of taste will this one go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. Sublevel Zero. Here we are at the start screen of Sublevel Zero. We're going to go ahead and jump into the actual options screen. So we can actually look at the options. There's a fair bit here. They actually went and put together a really great package as far as a PC game is concerned. You can go and play with the gamepad, or you can go and play with the mouse. There's a couple light audio options, and then there's a decent number of video options. You know, anti-aliasing, GUI anti-aliasing, volumetric lighting, dynamic light, draw distance, field of view, and a pretty decent number of resolutions you can go and play at as well. So really a great package as far as that's concerned. There are 7 ships that you can go and play in once you actually go and start a new game. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the other ships unlocked. At this point, I just have the standard gunship, which is great for going and showing off what the game has to go and offer as is. So there is a little bit of story to the title. Basically, the universe is going and ripping itself apart. Nobody goes and knows why. You know, wormholes, like tears in the fabric of reality, all that kind of stuff. And so you're basically a scout for one of the remaining clans of humanity, trying to go and find technology or other implements that'll go and help your survival. You go and come across this like ancient facility that potentially goes and has some secrets into it, but before your allies can go and come and help you explore it, you and it goes and gets sucked into this like flux wormhole, and you have to like end up exploring it yourself. So here we are at the first room of Sublevel Zero. So Sublevel Zero is a 6 Degree of Freedom shooter. So what that basically means is we can go move in any of the 6 axes. We can go up, we can go down, we can strafe left, we can strafe right. We have the ability to go and roll our ship. And we can of course go forward and back. So there's a lot of freedom that way is concerned. So our little ship is displayed down in that little HUD down there, and we goes and has a little bit of a representation of the world around us. If we're getting shot at, we can go and see where the points of impact came from. So, and the game itself goes and has kind of a nice, more retro polygonal look to it. So, excuse me. We go and start out with the base setup goes and starts out with 2 weapons. The autocannon, which goes and uses standard bullets and deals a reasonable amount of damage, as well as the pulsar, which is an energy weapon. And then we go and have 1 missile, just a dumbfire rocket. But as you go and kill enemies, you have the ability to go and potentially get loot from them, like this one here, the Relentless Shredder, which would go and use bullets, so I'm going to go and replace our autocannon with it. It's basically a shotgun, and, well, I love it. I think it's a great weapon, so that's an awesome pickup. So one thing to definitely go and note about Sublevel Zero is it's procedurally generated, so each playthrough is going to go and be different from the last. So far I feel like this one's actually going and starting out really well. Going and getting a new weapon pickup right off the bat is huge. But at the same time, well, if I could go and press the right shoot button, that would probably help. Changing weapons is great and all, but doesn't do us a whole lot of good when we're in a firefight. Yeah, shotguns rule. So there's several different types of enemies. As I've gotten further and further in the title, I've gone and encountered more and more enemy types that I hadn't seen before, so that's definitely something. I believe the ones I was going and fighting were called grunts. They're just like, AI drones. There's various bits of story that you can go and pick up throughout the course of the game in these data logs that you run into. It seems like there's one per level. They go and fill in little bits of what might be going on. Kind of just fun little bits and pieces going and trying to piece everything together. So what is this that dropped here? Ooh, Savage Firebolt. So there are 3 main types of ammunition. There's bullets, there's energy, and there's plasma. Then you also have missiles and advanced missiles. I don't think I've actually ever picked up anything that uses advanced missiles. And there's also darts. Which, wow. Come on. The firebolt here is taking a little bit of getting used to. So the different types of weapons, the different types of missiles you can go and pick up are definitely part of the appeal. In addition to the ability to just go and pick up, the missiles, or rather weapons, there's also other items like you can go and pick up additional hulls here. This one isn't significantly better than the one we've got, so I'm just going to grab it for now. I'll debate if I want to equip it or not. But there's also a crafting mechanic where you can go and craft better weapons based off of what you go and have. So what we have here, we can go and craft a chaotic flak that goes and would combine our firebolt and our shredder, which are both what we're using right now. Or we could go and make a relentless pulse, which would go and be kind of like energy shotgun. I like the idea of going with the chaotic flak cannon, so we're actually going to go, no, never mind. I don't have enough nanites yet to go and craft that. If I did, I would totally be crafting that, but no, well, such is what it is. By the way, this is our inventory screen. From here we can go and equip weapons that we've gone and picked up into our 2 gun slots or our 2 launcher slots, as well as go and change our engine and our hull. And it goes and gives us a loadout of what we've got as far as like speed, ramming ability, and all these other stats, as well as our repair kits, which are insanely useful and don't drop nearly enough. Once again, that could just be all on me though. So one thing that there's to note is that you have a limited amount of inventory space, and it goes and fills up quite quickly if you're going and surviving for a good amount of time. So that would go and be more of a reason to go and craft, go and like use up stuff in your inventory, or you'll just be going and leaving stuff behind. We'll go ahead and continue on, see if we can go and finish up the first stage, Sublevel Zero. Maybe get to Sublevel 1. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this firebolt all that much, truth be told. But one thing to definitely be cautious of is ammo usage, because you have a set amount of ammunition and it's scarce. There's a possibility that you could go and run out and find yourself unable to go and shoot all these enemies that are going and coming at you, which would be hugely problematic, and is an issue that I actually have run into. My very first run even, I went and ran out of ammunition and died because, well, I couldn't go and shoot any of the enemies. I was just going and running from them, and they eventually caught up to me and killed me. So, in each of the sub-levels, what we're trying to go and do is get to the reactor of the level, destroy it, and collect flux drive part from the reactor once it goes and blows up. So, I've completely lost my way now. Where did I even come into this room? There's a really neat map that you can go and pull up that goes and basically provides a beautiful 3D representation of the space that you've gone and explored, and even the space that you've gone and just like seen into. Like this room, the rooms around us we haven't been into, but we've got enough of a glimpse of them that it's kind of drawn them on our map. So we're going to go this way and try this door. Hopefully it's in the right direction. And indeed it is. So these rooms that I'm in right now go and precede the reactor in at least the first couple floors. I've made it all the way to sub-level 3, and things start to go and change in later stages as far as the way that the reactors look, the rooms around them, and everything. So, wow, I'm almost out of bullets, so we're going to switch up our inventory a little bit. We'll put the pulsar in place of our shredder since we have no bullets. So below us is the reactor, as well as some enemies we can go and see in there. And we can go and access it through this room, or on the other side. So this is procedurally generated, so you're going and seeing some of the same rooms going and repeating, but the combinations aren't always going to go and be the same. Ah, it sounds awesome. Chaotic grenade. I'm all about that. Does it automatically equip? It did. So let's go ahead and toss a couple of those in there. And have some grenades, guys. They're good for you. And like that, the reactor is destroyed. But there's still a few enemies. Let's go ahead and take care of them before we end up moving on, shall we? Now, as far as the ammunition and the nanites that enemies go and drop, they're only available for a short amount of time, so you kind of have to go and swoop in there and grab them quickly. But drops will go and persist, so you don't have to worry as much about going and getting in there and picking those up. Brutal Firebolt, I think, goes and is a decent replacement for our Savage. Then we've got Riot Laser. Let's go ahead and... oh, garbage. Our inventory is full. And Crude Impact Rifle. Let's see, what can we do as far as our inventory is concerned? Let's go and drop the bomber hull. Then we'll craft. Can we go and craft our... we can. Chaotic or Relentless? Let's go with the one with better accuracy. We're going to go and craft a Relentless Firebolt. And... or rather, a Relentless Flak Cannon. And with that being the case, we should be able to go and pick up this Crude Impact Rifle. And do we want this? Riot Laser, if we can hold it. Alright, since we destroy the reactor, then here's this Flux Drive component. And once we go and pick this up, a portal goes and appears to take us to the next stage, which we're going to go and jump right into. So if you go and collect enough nanites between in stages, then you go and get nano carts between stages, which go and provide various kinds of perks that you can go and add to your ship. And depending on the perks, they'll definitely go and help increase your survivability. Spray and pray, fire rate is slightly increased, self-shield, or bomber. Let's go with bomber. Then we go and get our status screen for how we did on the stage. All things considered, not too bad. My accuracy is about my standard, 54%, roughly half. I have gone and done better, but decent damage done. Didn't take too terribly much damage. Onward to sub-level 1. Some launchers have a secondary fire mode. You can hold when you hold down the trigger. Alright, so here we are at the start of sub-level 1. With new crafting available, let's take a quick look at what we've got. So we could go and make a minigun, which is actually available from the get-go, or a clumsy railgun. I think we're pretty good with where we're at, especially since we are light on bullets as far as ammunition is concerned. It's not really the kind of weapon I want to be crafting right now. But oh, is that chaotic flak cannon so good. Come on, I hope this chest has some bullets in it, and it did. That'll help out a little bit. So, one thing I definitely have to go and say about Sublevel Zero is it's difficult. Depending on how you go and handle situations, what kind of weapons and health pickups you might happen to go and find, it's very possible that you could go and find yourself in a situation where you're quickly running out of options, ammunition, health, and whatnot, and you might end up in a tight corridor with a lot of enemies, and ultimately not have much choices or much in the way of options for escape, and thus your run goes and ends. That's kind of been a common scenario on my end, unfortunately, but that said, it's definitely been a fun title to go and explore, and even when you go and experience defeat, it doesn't necessarily feel like the game was going and being unfair to you. Although I've got to go and say, this run in particular, I am picking up an insane amount of health pickups. Like, here's another one. I can't even use them all. My inventory is full. So we'll use that one. Although the health pickups, you might have noticed, don't necessarily take effect straight away. They actually take a second to go and heal your ship. Ah, these things. These little drill guys go and home into you and then try and ram you. They think they've been the cause of the end of my runs more than just about any other enemy. Although, admittedly, a lot of snipers have taken me out too. Like small little drones that go and fire a really pinpoint accurate railgun at you. Of course, there are environmental concerns that can go and take you out as well, like the lava here can go and also deal lethal damage if you're not careful. The reactors as well. The first one doesn't necessarily go and fire anything back at you, but the later reactors start going and firing beams or shots at you. It actually gets wow, really dangerous to go and be. I am not, yeah, tight corridors and these guys is not a good combination. Please die. Thank you. What do we drop? Pulsar. That's better than what we got. Let's go with it. So we're hemorrhaging health like no other right now. This room was definitely not our friend. Just goes to show you how quickly things can go from going alright to bad, just from a room with enemies that are not your friend. So as we go and progress, there's also key cards that you need to go and find and to be able to go and access other rooms in the sub-levels. So hopefully, like this one right here, the blue key card. So if we can go and survive this, there's a pretty high likelihood that we'd be able to go and actually get to the reactor, but it's getting pretty dicey. Can we run for it? Not that way. Leave me alone. So this is back the way that we came, but sadly it doesn't appear like we left the enemies completely behind. And I'm out of ammunition with that gun. Well, I think that'll just about wrap it up for this run. At any rate, that's been Sublevel Zero. So, especially if you're a fan of Descent and you're looking for a return to that kind of an experience, I definitely go and recommend giving this one a look. And I'm out of ammunition all around. While difficult, it's been a lot of fun going and playing throughout the stages, trying to go and progress further and further. Killed by lava. That would have been my own damn fault, so... Ha! You guys didn't take me out. We'll go and say it that way. I've had a lot of fun with this one with the little bit of time that I've gone and spent with it. So it was definitely one of my most anticipated titles to get my hands on after PAX, and actually going having played it, that was completely justified. It's a great title, especially if you're a fan of games like Descent, then definitely go and pick this one up, Sublevel Zero. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, if you go and have any suggestions for other shoot 'em ups or games that you would like me to go and feature on my channel, by all means, please go and leave those in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today, and we'll see you again next week.